Donald Trump is an extremely controversial figure who inspires both love and hate ever since he became globally recognized for his achievements as an entrepreneur. Much is said about his provocative statements and worldview, but little attention is currently paid to his business journey and how the Trump name became so powerful. His story is filled with controversies, intrigue, highs and lows. Both in his personal life and career, his image once epitomized the American dream, though today it divides opinions worldwide. Love him or hate him, Trump is one of the world's most prominent entrepreneurs, and his business trajectory deserves to be told by our channel. Donald John Trump was born on June 14, 1946, in the New York borough of Queens. Donald is the grandson and son of immigrants. His mother, Scottish-born Mary MacLeod, arrived in the United States in 1929 at the age of 17. She met Frederick Christ Trump, the son of German immigrants, in 1930. They married in 1936 when Frederick was still establishing his construction business, building homes in Queens, New York. Later, Fred Trump began constructing barracks and apartments for U.S. Navy officers during World War II. They settled in the Jamaica neighborhood of Queens, a haven for Western European immigrants at the time. Donald Trump's childhood was not luxurious. According to the New Yorker magazine, the 1940 census recorded that the couple lived with their 2 children and a Scottish maid in a home valued at $12,500, equivalent to $214,000 today. Frederick's income was $5,000 per year, or roughly $86,000 in today's terms. It was only after the real estate boom following World War II that the builder's fortune began to grow. Donald Trump has 4 siblings. 2 brothers, Fred Trump Jr., 1938 to 1981, and Robert Trump, and 2 sisters, Elizabeth Trump and Marion Trump. His brother, Fred Trump Jr., died in 1981 due to drug and alcohol addiction. Donald witnessed his older brother's struggle with addiction, and from seeing its effects, he never used drugs, nor does he smoke or drink. His mother, Mary Trump, died in New York in 2088, just 1 year after her husband. Frederick, who had suffered from Alzheimer's, passed away in 1999 from pneumonia, leaving his children an inheritance of nearly $300 million. From a young age, Fred Trump tried to instill values in his son. However, young Donald was a rebellious and unruly boy. Due to his misbehavior, his parents forced him to attend a strict boarding school, the New York Military Academy, where he stood out as the captain of the baseball team. In an interview with the New York Times, Trump said his years at the military school were crucial for him, especially due to the rigorous training he received there. After graduating in 1964, he considered studying film. Instead, however, he went to Fordham University and 2 years later to the Wharton Business School at the University of Pennsylvania, where he graduated in economics. In 1968, at age 22, Donald Trump entered his father's business, the Elizabeth Trump and Son Company, which was dedicated to renting middle-class housing in the New York boroughs of Brooklyn, Queens, and Staten Island. This company was later renamed and became the Trump Organization, specializing in luxury constructions. His first major deal was the purchase and renovation of the Commodore Hotel. The endeavor took place in the early 1970s, during a time when New York City was experiencing absolute chaos. The country was undergoing a severe fiscal crisis, and the city faced harsh strikes and suffered from infrastructure issues, unemployment, violence, and widespread poverty. NYC, once known as the City of Fun, had become the City of Fear. In 1974, Trump decided to pursue an extremely bold plan, one that would require substantial funding and strong negotiation skills. The aim was to renovate the old Commodore Hotel, built in 1919, which had been one of New York City's iconic landmarks but had deteriorated along with the city itself. What was once a source of pride and prominence had become a symbol of decay. The hotel had a strategic location in Manhattan, next to the famous Grand Central Station, the city's largest train station and a traditional NYC tourist spot. According to Trump, this project could generate thousands of jobs, from the renovation work to the many new jobs that would be created within the new hotel, which was set to have over 1,000 rooms. Additionally, The plan ambitiously aimed to revive tourism in New York, particularly in the Manhattan area, where the hotel was situated. To undertake this venture, which would cost nearly $100 million, Trump sought a bank loan. However, the banks only agreed to lend part of the necessary amount, so he pursued an even bolder approach, negotiating a 40-year tax exemption from the New York City government. This audacious proposal was the only way to make the hotel project feasible, since the tax savings over the years would serve as a sort of financial guarantee, allowing Trump to secure the funds needed from banks and investors. His father, Fred Trump, had a good relationship with local politicians and leaders, especially through his influence in the construction sector. Thanks to his father's connections with then NYC Mayor Abraham Beame, Trump managed to strike a deal with the city. It was estimated that in absolute terms, a 4-decade tax exemption could cost the city up to $400 million. However, Trump had public opinion on his side, which believed in the project, as well as a good relationship with Mayor Beame. In 1976, with the agreement in place, Trump managed to convince the billionaire hotel chain Hyatt to join the project. In return, the new Commodore Hotel would be renamed the Grand Hyatt Hotel. The hotel reopened in 1980. The new venture boasted 1,400 rooms and cost a substantial $100 million at the time. However, it was an enormous success. Not only did it yield significant profits for Trump and his partners, but it also boosted New York City's economy and tourism. Trump came to be seen as a young man of great talent and, for many, a sort of savior of the city. With those gains, Trump had become wealthy and famous, one of America's most eligible bachelors. His success grew further when he built what would become the jewel of the Trump organization, Trump Tower. The Trump Tower is one of New York's iconic buildings, standing at 58 stories and 202 meters high. However, its construction was also surrounded by controversies. The building was erected on the site of the previously located large, well-known department store Bonwit Teller. The old facility was to be demolished. Trump had promised to donate part of the entrance, which had Art Deco references, to the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. But in the end, everything was demolished. Additionally, it was alleged that the labor used in the tower's construction consisted of illegal immigrants. Trump later claimed he was unaware that the workers were undocumented. Despite the controversies, the tower was completed in 1983. It featured numerous ultra-luxurious apartment units, with an average price of about $11 million at that time. The tower is located on NY's Fifth Avenue, one of the most valuable and sought-after locations in the world, and remains one of the city's landmarks to this day. To build the tower, Trump also relied on public support, once again securing a 40-year tax exemption due to the project's potential to create thousands of direct and indirect jobs. Trump's fame stirred the anger of his opponents, particularly New York City's new mayor at the time, Ed Koch. Koch decided to legally challenge the validity of the Trump Tower's tax exemption, and the legal battle lasted several years. To counter Koch and a large group of political and community opponents, Trump teamed up with the notorious lawyer Roy Cohn, known for representing powerful figures and even alleged mobsters. Nevertheless, Trump won the case, with a score of 4 judges to 1, which once again strengthened his image. Simultaneously with the start of Trump Tower's construction, Trump also decided to enter the realm of philanthropy by rebuilding a public ice skating rink in Central Park in 1980, the Woolman Rink. Today, 5 million people visit the rink annually. The project cost nearly $2 million to build and was completed in just 3 months, well ahead of the original timeline. The construction employed thousands of workers and was entirely funded by Trump. While the project was successful and even helped boost NYC tourism, Trump's actions received a mixed reception. Many people appreciated his gesture, while opponents believed it was simply another way to bolster the Trump brand and create the public persona of Donald Trump. At the time, there was even speculation about a possible Trump candidacy for NYC mayor, but he denied this, stating he had no interest in the position. For better or worse, all of Trump's initiatives made him something of an American legend, with people believing he had a kind of Midas touch, able to turn anything into gold. Thus, The Trump brand became synonymous with high luxury, quality, and a great deal of wealth. In 1985, he purchased a massive estate in Palm Beach, Florida, the Mar-a-Lago estate. The property had existed since 1920 when it belonged to a wealthy American family. In addition to his ventures in Florida and Manhattan, Trump also invested in a series of casinos in Atlantic City, New Jersey, starting in 1977. That same year, Trump's success led him to publish his book, The Art of the Deal, which became an international bestseller. In the book, Trump shared his negotiation strategies and explained how he managed to close multi-million-dollar deals. For critics, the book was just another way to inflate Trump's ego and strengthen his image as a public figure. In any case, Trump's ego indeed grew bigger, and he began to make a series of new investments. In 1988, Trump purchased the Plaza Hotel in Manhattan for around $400 million, intending to carry out various renovations funded by Trump's own money and a series of bank loans. However, after a few years, the business didn't prove as successful as his other ventures, and Trump had to sell his stake to Asian groups. That same year, he also bought his own airline, Trump Airlines, after acquiring Eastern Air Shuttle for about $365 million at the time. The airline service became extremely luxurious, with aircraft outfitted with gold-plated and high-quality finishes. Trump's ego seemed boundless, as did his success. But things began to change in the 1990s. In 1990, Trump faced an expensive divorce. His relationship with Ivana Trump ended due to an extramarital affair on Donald's part. The businessman agreed to pay an annual alimony of $350,000, along with a lump sum of $10 million to his ex-wife, with whom he had married in 1977 and had 3 children, Donald Jr., Eric, and Ivanka. Following this, Trump began facing a true streak of bad luck. His grandiosity led him to acquire his own football team, the New Jersey Generals, which played in the USFL League. Trump attempted to challenge the NFL, but ended up facing a lawsuit under U.S. antitrust laws. Due to all the controversies, the team only lasted 3 years. Trump also hosted various boxing matches at his properties, including the 1988 heavyweight championship fight between Mike Tyson and Michael Spinks. He also organized 2 major cycling races in the U.S., modeled after the Tour de France, the world's biggest cycling competition. The Tour de Trump had 2 editions. With his growing ego, Trump began to pursue various ventures using investor and bank money, applying the concept of financial leverage. He used bank funds to create his new ventures, believing he could pay back the borrowed capital and interest, relying primarily on the high profits he was generating. This technique, known as OPM, other people's money, has been widely used by many successful entrepreneurs since the early modern era, including J.P. Morgan. However, in that decade, things started to take a different turn, and Trump was nearly knocked out. In the 1990s, he declared bankruptcy on several of his ventures. In 1989, he bought the Taj Mahal Hotel in Atlantic City, then the largest casino in the world. Yet a crisis in the U.S. real estate market caused the property to lose value, hurting profits in other areas. In 1991, Trump found himself on the brink of bankruptcy, with his net worth dropping from $1.7 billion to $500 million. Then, in 1992, the Trump Plaza Hotel went bankrupt. That same year, Trump also had to hand over Trump Airlines to its creditors, as the company, despite lasting 4 years, never turned a profit, and Trump couldn't meet the loans taken out in the airline's name. To pay off his debts, Donald sold casinos, his private yacht called the Trump Princess, and his airline. Later, Trump began his comeback. Besides diversifying his investments, he also started licensing the Trump brand to other ventures he wasn't directly managing. He bought part of the Miss Universe franchise, which he later acquired fully in 2015. In 2016, he sold the company to the William Morris Agency. He also profited from the release of his second book, The Art of the Comeback, about his return to success. In 1993, he married the American Marla Maples, with whom he had another daughter, Tiffany. In 1995, he purchased the Trump building for about $1 million, spending an additional $35 million on renovations and establishing his address on Wall Street. Today, the building is valued at over $500 million. He also owns Trump Place, a luxury residential complex near the Hudson River, with 5,700 apartments spread across 18 buildings. Another major success is the Trump International Tower in Chicago, purchased in 2005. Formerly the headquarters of the Chicago Sun-Times, it cost around $73 million. Today, the building includes a hotel, shops, restaurants, and residential apartments. Trump reached the height of his fame in 2004 when he became the host of the show The Apprentice. The show was a worldwide hit, a reality program in which contestants competed in group tasks and challenges, with the winner earning a job at the Trump Organization. The final episode of the first season was the most-watched show on American television that year, second only to the Super Bowl. Trump hosted many seasons of the show, including a version with celebrities called The Celebrity Apprentice. The show was extremely profitable, generating an average of $1 million per episode. Trump claims to have earned $213 million since the show's launch. The Apprentice became a global franchise, hosted by figures like Martha Stewart and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Trump also acquired several wrestling franchises in the popular sport of professional wrestling in the U.S. Through the WWE franchise, Trump earned significant profits and even made appearances at some franchise events. Despite his significant success after his financial recovery, Trump also collected some failures, almost as many as he did enemies. In 2006, Trump launched his own vodka brand, Trump Vodka. Success Distilled was the vodka slogan, and the hope was that it would become the top-selling drink in the country. However, production ceased in 2011 due to a lack of consumer interest, according to Time magazine. Trump-branded casinos filed for bankruptcy for the fourth time in 2014. Though his name was on the business, Trump owned only 28% of the casino stocks and claimed he had no responsibility for the enterprise's mismanagement. In 1989, Trump attempted to release his own board game, similar to Monopoly, Trump, the Game. However, the game was only sold for a year and was a sales flop. In 2005, he tried again with a game based on the success of The Apprentice, but again, it was unsuccessful. Also, in 2005, Trump tried to launch his own university, Trump University. However, the school was unaccredited and clearly for profit. After 5 years, the business closed due to numerous complaints from students who said the content felt like an infomercial. In 2006, he also tried to launch Trump Mortgage, a mortgage company. However, the company's CEO turned out to be a fraud, and Trump ended the operation in less than 2 years. In 2007, Trump launched Trump Magazine, aiming to illustrate the world of the rich and famous, but the magazine lasted only a year and a half. That same year, Trump tried to introduce a line of meats, Trump Steaks, and a steakhouse, Trump Steakhouse, but these businesses were closed in 2012 for violating local health regulations. Trump also partnered with the giant Travelocity to create a luxury travel website, GoTrump.com, but the venture lasted just 1 year. This series of failures shows that an entrepreneur's life is full of ups and downs. In the 1990s, rumors circulated that Trump had gone bankrupt. According to him, that never happened. He only had a period of illiquidity, which was managed after a series of adjustments. Today, Trump has amassed billions of dollars. Following the IPO of his media company, DMTG, it's estimated that Trump has a net worth of over $7 billion. He insists the value is much higher, as he claimed to be worth over $7 billion even before the Trump media IPO. Amid controversy and wealth, Trump has become something of an American icon, for better or worse. He became a celebrity not only for his entrepreneurial achievements, but also for his success as a TV host. He has also appeared in several TV shows and movies. In total, Trump has made appearances in about 12 films and 14 TV shows. Notably, in Home Alone 2, Trump makes a cameo in a scene with Macaulay Culkin. In the movie, the character Kevin gets separated from his family by boarding the wrong flight to NYC, staying at the Plaza Hotel, owned by the billionaire. In The Little Rascals, Trump plays the father of the character Waldo. Beyond becoming a TV star, Trump has also authored several books. Alongside the bestsellers The Art of the Deal and The Art of the Comeback, he also released How to Be Rich and other works on success and his political views. He also co-authored 2 books with Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Midas Touch, and We Want You to Be Rich. In 2016, Trump decided to put aside his entrepreneurial career to become a politician. Since then, his older children have been managing Trump Organization operations. After 8 years of strong disagreements with President Barack Obama, Trump decided to run for president of the United States. This decision was primarily driven by the tycoon's dissatisfaction with American politicians, particularly fueled after being publicly roasted by Obama at an annual official dinner held by the sitting president. From the moment of his announcement to his potential candidacy, Trump faced exposure and lost a substantial number of friends and supporters. Some former friends became adversaries and enemies. Even the Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton was once a close friend of Donald's. The two had severed ties years earlier. Many of the controversies stemmed from his political positions and controversial statements. Trump launched his candidacy with the Republican Party, despite resistance from many within his own party. If he hadn't received party support, he would have even run independently. His campaign was largely self-funded, along with donations from voters. During the election, he defied all predictions from political analysts, winning his party's primary and defeating the favored Hillary Clinton. In November of that year, he was elected to become the President of the United States, a position he held until the end of 2020, when he failed to secure re-election. Now, he's seeking to reclaim the title of the world's most powerful man. Currently, Trump is married to former Slovenian model Melania Kraus, with whom he has a son, Barron. In addition to being an entrepreneur, author, and politician, Trump is also a philanthropist and has carried out various initiatives through his foundation, the Donald J. Trump Foundation. All royalties from Trump's books were donated to charity through the foundation. Trump's story evokes both admiration and disdain among people. For many, Trump is a significant role model, both as an entrepreneur and public figure. For others, he's someone to be dismissed. Nevertheless, his journey highlights the transformative power of entrepreneurship. Trump's projects have helped revitalize various locations worldwide, including the revival of New York City in the 1970s. For many, Trump's ventures have always been a way for him to keep inflating his ego and crafting his public persona. Love him or hate him, Trump is undeniably a controversial figure, but also a prominent icon whose story has now been shared on our channel. And you, what do you think of him? Hero or villain? Share your opinion with us in the comments.